Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another inspirational message, inspirational conversation on the Every Day is a New Day show. I typically do these with reading an excerpt from a book that I felt inspired to share, but not today. Today, we are simply beginning with a starting message, and I'm holding this card up. I'll share this in a moment, I guess. I'm starting today simply with a question. And it's a question that has come up a few times in my sphere, and I like to share it with others because I think it's one we can all relate to. And that question is, how do you move forward when you don't know how? How do you move forward when you don't know how? And I recently posted about this on Facebook and Instagram. And I gave an answer to it. And so I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. What did I say there? We're going to pull cards today about this. Okay. But what did I say there? Well, I said, number one, you ask for guidance. Number two, be open to receive the guidance that you are given. And then number three, take the action shown. And sometimes that's a process of learning how to really trust what you're receiving and the messages that you're being given and that kind of thing. But I think this is a really good question to ponder. And I've had a few things come up in my world lately where I'm asking, this question about next steps. And so I thought it would be good. Let's go ahead and just do a video on this, a conversation on this, and pull some cards. And so that's what we're doing today. And so let me know if this resonates for you, this particular question, if you're in a space of trying to figure out what your next step is with things going on in your life. And what I want to first share with you is this was a card that I pulled earlier today before some other conversations that I had. It's from my deck, the Every Day is a New Day deck. And the answer here is that it's going to be okay. It's going to be way better than okay. You'll see. And so I just thought this would be good to start today's conversation with, is recognizing that whatever ends up happening, it's going to be okay. And it's actually going to be way better than you expect. Okay, let's pull some additional cards. How do you move forward when you don't know how? How do you move forward when you don't know how? I'm going to first pull from my self-love deck. Well, it's Louise Hay's self-love deck, but of course, the one that I have. Let's see what message wants to come through. How to move forward when you don't know how. That was a whole bunch of cards. Let's see the first one here. If I follow my inner wisdom, I am at peace with my own being. If I follow my inner wisdom, I am at peace with my own being. And the back says, I completely trust the intelligence within me to guide me to the right path. The universe supports me in every positive way. Hello. Guidance is coming through right here, right now. Are you choosing to completely trust the intelligence within you to guide you to the right path? The universe supports you in every positive way. That was wonderful. I want to see if there's another self-love message that wants to come through in service to this question that we are posing. How do we move forward when we don't know how? What additional insight wants to come through? I am not restricted by limiting beliefs. I am gentle, kind, and comforting to my inner child as we uncover and release the old negative messages from family and society. I am gentle, kind, and comforting to my inner child as we uncover and release the old negative messages from family and society. So what I'm getting from this is we can have limiting beliefs that tend to cloud our judgment, to make it hard for us to really embrace the insight, the wisdom that is coming through for us that might be so totally different from what we were raised believing, from what your inner child was told. Taking time to really recognize, wait a second, that what's the belief I'm going off of right now of maybe why it's maybe scary to take this new action, or why, this new path that I'm intrigued by, but I keep questioning why, what's the belief I have about that that's interfering with me taking that action? Be gentle with yourself. It's okay to accept and embrace a new belief. Those are good. Those are some really good ones there. I'm going to go straight to an angel message next. Let's do an angel message on this. I actually pulled several decks here, so we've got quite a few messages we're going to receive today. I'm going to next pull from Keith Leon's Walking with Your Angels Daily Inspiration deck. And I always love showing the artwork on this. So if you are listening to this as a podcast, if you'd like to see the video format, we are also on YouTube. This is also on YouTube on the Kim O'Neill channel. Okay, let's see what additional message wants to come through. What do the angels want to say to support us and how to move forward when we don't know how? It's so funny. So I'm recording this on a Friday, and the podcast version is going to come out at a later date based on other Every Day's a New Day show episodes I already have scheduled to come out. But for those here on YouTube, you are seeing this sooner. You're seeing this earlier, most likely. And it's funny because I thought today was Saturday, but it's actually Friday. Okay, we have here, Archangel Anael. So beautiful. And it says, unconditional love and sex are part of why you have chosen to come to this planet. Sex is a desire to create true connection with another. The feeling of love is a byproduct of true connection. True unconditional love for another is only achievable once you've learned to love yourself in every way. And what's standing out most for me is, of course, that last message. True unconditional love for another is only achievable once you've learned to love yourself in every way. Once you can have more compassion for yourself, it's easier to have more compassion for others because we can understand that, things aren't always so easy. I could say so much more about that, but I don't want to discard the beginning of this message here. Unconditional love and sex are part of why you've chosen to come to this planet. Sex is a desire to create true connection with another, and the feeling of love being a byproduct of that true connection. So is there something that comes through for you as you think about it with sex and moving forward, and maybe how you're comprehending sex and the value of what that brings to your life, right? There can be a lot of stigma there is a lot of stigma, at least in the US, around sex. And so there can be all sorts of conflicting beliefs, right? And if we want to factor in beliefs, maybe things that you grew up with believing about sex, and maybe the adult you is saying, you know what? Okay, something's got to shift here. I don't want to think of it in this negative way. Maybe it's time to start to shift how you view it and think of it as a way of coming together with a consensual adult partner. And I just want to say right now that this message is for adults, and two responsible adults coming together, making healthy choices for themselves when it comes to that act. So yeah. What I love is there are all sorts of things that come through as messages in these conversations. And what I have learned is to not discard what shows up. And that's taken practice. That's taken a lot of practice. There were years ago, when I really wanted to be able to better hear and understand what my intuition was saying. And that was such a process. And it still continues to be this thing that I, like right now, right? I've got some things that I'm weighing up and actively practicing. What is my intuition saying, telling me? And sometimes, this is my truth. Sometimes when I feel that things aren't coming through so clearly or so obviously, that's partly that it's not the right time for me to take an action. And to me, that's also a thing to discern. Really? Or is that possibly fear, wanting to come in and prevent me from taking an action? I got to weigh these things out. But the more we get used to listening and and taking action on certain things, and then being able to reflect back and go, oh, yeah, see, now I can tell that was my intuition actually telling me to do that. Or, oh, actually, no, that wasn't quite the right message. But you learn from everything. Okay, I'm going to move on to next. Not yet. We're gonna move on to Mirrors, a deck by Janet Starr and Jeff Rowland. This is a great deck with little simple messages and pictures. Let's see what message wants to come through this deck. Okay. So I pulled a few decks for today's conversation that give us, everyday words and things that may speak to you. So we'll see what shows up. This is one of those decks. Okay, what additional message wants to come through? How to move forward when you don't know how. Oh, there's two here. The first one is breakthrough. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for an upgrade? And they're showing a picture of the world. And then we also have grace. Can you make it look easy? And there's a picture of a swan on a lake. And, swans, they make everything look so effortless and easy, right? They're just gliding on the surface, but below the surface, their feet are paddling a mile a minute to keep them afloat and going. And what I feel like this is saying, here's what I'm seeing. We have breakthrough and grace here. And so before I move on to the next thing is what comes to mind, of course, as we have the swan here, making everything look so easy, is also the image of iceberg, the icebergs, right? So in coaching and in other professions, you learn about the iceberg, about, the outside world only sees what's on the surface above the water. Below the water is all the other stuff, the fears, the doubts, the challenges that you're working to overcome, all the emotions you're learning to process, and just all the things that you're dealing with. And then what gets shown on the surface is only what we choose to show. Because maybe we want to make it look easy, or maybe, there are things we don't want people to see. And here's the thing for me with this argument, you don't have to show everything. Okay. But is there a lot underneath the surface that is getting in the way of being able to hear your intuition, or just slowing you down and taking that next step forward? Maybe it's not so much, as we ask the question of how do you move forward when you don't know how, there's embedded within that somehow the assumption that you may not know what moving forward looks like. But let's backtrack. You may actually know exactly what moving forward looks like, and yet it's all this other stuff underneath the surface that is slowing you down from taking that next step. You may know exactly what the next step is, but how do you move forward? What are you not looking at? What are you avoiding? Is it time to have a breakthrough? To stop resisting that thing that you've been avoiding? And what I think is really cool about this card too, on breakthrough, on planet Earth, usually when you see a globe, you see lots of all the images of all the countries, right? And their outlines on a globe. Well, this one, it shows part of that, but it also shows a crack in the earth. We can think of the earth as a very, very dense piece of matter. And we humans, we sometimes can be very dense too, right? Okay, I'm laughing. Have a lot to break through the surface of us to finally realize, you know what? The answer's been there all along. It's time for me to finally just simply say, let's Let's do that thing that I've been avoiding. I've been resisting. I was recently reading just the other day about, just yesterday actually, resistance is a topic that comes up a lot in coaching and in personal development in general. What are you resisting? But another way to look at it is, what are you contemplating? What are you still contemplating? What are you in pre-contemplation about? And sometimes we can make excuses about that too. Well, I'm still contemplating when really there's nothing new to contemplate. It's just a matter of, do it or don't finally, right? Make a decision. We can keep ourselves held back from moving forward when we are simply resisting the breakthrough, resisting that new thing that our soul is calling us forward to finally do. It's, time to grow. It's time to take that step in the direction of whatever's scary, of what we have so much anxiety or just limiting beliefs about. And so this card about grace, can you make it look easy? I want to say this, what if we allow it to, it doesn't have to look easy. Give yourself grace because it might look messy. And I think for a lot of people, I'm going to say myself as one of them, when you're starting something new, doing something new, anything that's new, that's like a breakthrough for you, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to do this thing that doesn't feel so good. And maybe it's something you've done before, but it's been a long time since someone's, it's kind of scary again, whatever it might be. Or maybe it's the very first time you're doing something, things do not always look so pretty that first time. It's okay to be messy. When I chose to leave my stable day job to do more of what I'm passionate about, that was a ridiculously scary experience for me. And I was being given sign after sign after sign after sign after sign to have faith. To have faith. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous how many signs I was getting. And I'm so grateful that they continued to show up in so many ways. So grateful. And bottom line, it comes down to taking the action. You can't really say that you have faith if you aren't taking the action, because what is faith? Faith is taking the action in the face of not having that, total proof, right? That proof that everything's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're being guided in that direction. Your heart is pulling you in that direction. And the outcome may not be exactly what you want it to be. That's the part we don't know, right? And everything is here. Hello, we're going back to the very first card. It's going to be okay. You will have finally moved forward because you did that scary thing. It's going to be way better than okay. You'll see. Oh my gosh. Whew. I am loving this message. I want to encourage you to allow yourself to receive this message. The back of this deck, let's highlight this. The back of the mirrors deck is basically, I actually see this two ways. I see this as the wheel of a ship, the kind of steering the ship, but I also see it as a compass. I think that's what it's intended to be, but I don't know exactly. A compass. You have so much power in steering yourself in a certain direction, and the universe has, universe, angels, God, however you want to think of it, they bring so much to your life, but they can only do so much. You are the one that has to take the action. So anyway, okay, those were excellent. Let's move on. I'm gonna move on now. Yeah, go back to what I was gonna do earlier. Abraham Hicks Well-Being deck. And let's see what added message they want to give us. Take a deep breath in. Allow these messages to just settle within you. And heed which ones are really shining through for you. It's always, always, always take what resonates, leave what does not. And if you aren't sure, you can simply just be in a receptive state of hearing and receiving the messages that are showing up right now and asking, please show me which messages are the ones that I'm supposed to hear more clearly, that would be in my best interest to take action upon right now. And then keep your eyes open. Keep your heart open. Keep your energetic receptors open to watch for the signs. What repetitive message begin to show up? You heard me say today, it's going to be way okay. It's going to be okay. Release limiting beliefs and messages that you grew up with from your family and society. Where else do you start to see those things show up? And of course, this speaks to any of the other messages that came up today. Okay, let's see what additional messages want to come through this well-being deck. How to move forward when you don't know how. Okay, it's going to take a moment to pause. They're kind of toppling on top of each other. Okay, that might be one. Let's see. Let's see if there's another one. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, we might have 3 here. Well, look at that. I was just looking for 1, but we may have 3. It's fun when there's more, right? Okay, this is the one that I think was the predominant one. So let's see here. It says, I look for positive aspects in every experience. I look for positive aspects in every experience. Within every particle of the universe is that which is wanted and lack of it. By looking for the positive aspects of whatever you are giving your attention to, you maintain your connection to well-being. Okay, the second one we have here is, whatever abundance I seek is mine. It is law. The back says, whatever I desire and then allow, I must experience. There is no exception to that. As I hold myself in vibrational alignment with my own desire, I will experience in all ways the fulfillment of that desire. Let's see what this third one is. The third one is the first one that I went ahead and pulled out. As I breathe deeply, I feel myself thrive. And the back says, thriving is as natural as breathing itself. By relaxing often and breathing deeply, your natural thriving is enhanced. Well, so what I hear is to be in a receptive state, to really be able to trust the guidance that you're being given. They're giving a reminder to breathe. And I love this because this is absolutely always something that I work on with my coaching clients, is to take that deep breath in and allowing the space within to be open and expand. And when you practice this in the context of a safe space, whether it be a coaching session or at home, when you're just, waking up in the morning, when you're meditating, when you're taking 5 to 10 minutes out of your day to pause and be present for yourself, intentionally breathing and expanding those lungs, not just going, I breathe every day, all day, it happens, automatically. Pause. Center yourself and take a slow, deep breath. That is opening up the space for you to receive energetically what is coming to you, for you to receive with more clarity the guidance that is flowing to you at all times. You ask and the universe gives. But are you in a receptive state to receive? You can open up to that so that it's easier, so it's more palpable through your breath. That is one way. Through relaxing. Yeah, this one here. Whatever I desire, and then allow. Because we can desire all day. Oh, I'm asking the universe for things all the time, all the time. But are you allowing it to show up? And you may automatically think, well, of course, I'm ready to receive it. But what's your energy saying? What consistent emotional state do you find yourself in more often than not? If you're more often than not feeling so great, in a state of frustration, grief, anxiety, frustration, whatever it may be, that's not a receptive state. You want to take time to clear that out so your vibration can naturally raise into being of one that is more relaxed, get into a better feeling state, so that you are allowing, not from a mental aspect of, well, of course I'm allowing, from an energetic, what are you embodying state, and allowing to flow to you. Because things are flowing to you all the time, but are you, if you're not in a state where you can receive them, where you can recognize them, that's just it. You're not going to recognize them. So, okay. We have good stuff here. I love it. Okay, moving right along. I've got 4 more decks we're going to pull from, and then we're going to close out. And I'm trying to keep this message around the 30-minute mark. We're nearing that already. As always, let me know what you're taking away from today's conversation. Wherever you viewed or listened today, let me know in the comments. And you can always reach out to me if you are ready to receive more assistance with listening to your own inner guidance and reclaiming your authentic self, feeling more confident in who you are again, and learning how to love yourself forward rather than struggle forward. Reach out to me. You can visit KimO'NeillCoaching.com for links of how to contact me. So now I'm going to pull from the Tea Leaf deck. I love this deck. This is such a cool deck. We've got tons of cards here. So let's see what added message wants to come through. I'm going to do a light shuffle here. And I guess I want to ask right now, what questions are coming up for you as you ponder on this question of how do you move forward when you don't know how? I mean, the thing that tends to come up for me first, and maybe you've heard this one too, is that it's not about the how, right? There's that one. It's not about the how. It's more so about who are you being, and yet inherent within that is, well, how do you be, right? And so that's when this conversation comes into play too. Will you be through a relaxed state? You be through a self-loving state. You be through a state of someone who's not holding on to so many heavy things. And that's sometimes easier said than done, right? And yet it's really good. This is not about being a perfect human. This is about recognizing, you know what? Yeah, there's some things in my way, some things from my past that might be weighing me down. Every day is a new day. There's always hope. And it might be time to take that new step forward, have that breakthrough moment for yourself, and practice something new. Okay, let's see. What additional message? There were a few cards that already came out. I'm just going to let them show up. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Is there one final one? So there's a few cards here. Is there one more message that wants to come through this deck about how to, there we go. We'll let that be. Okay, we're going to let that be complete. What do we have here? We have Diamond. You'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. Well, that sounds nice. We have Beryl. You feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. So here's what and we have more here, but here's what I'd like to say here is, as I share these, again, just, these may be more so messages of you being able to identify if this conversation or something within it is for you. And so if there's something, just always pay notice, oh my gosh, I have something that resonates with that in my life. Okay. We have March, and I think these are tulips. I think they look like sad tulips. Anyway, we have March. So the month of March. We have Yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. We have wind chimes, peace and harmony. There's some leaves on there, peace and harmony. We have needle and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. Well, that's fun. It's the universe always speaking to us, right? We have May, the month of May. And this one has it looks like a cherry blossom tree with rocks and a river flowing. That one looks like a painting to me, a painting I've seen. And then last but not least, we have gavel, involvement with the law. Okay, involvement with the law, gavel. So let me first see if I see any common themes with these. Of course, we have the 2 months that begin with the letter M show up. We have flowers. We have, we've got cherry blossom. We've got pink cherry blossoms. We've got purple tulips. And it looks like we've got some, I think those are lilies or irises. And maybe a rose. We've also got the combination of the expression of, two sides of things. We've got, the feeling tied down or frustrated, feeling something is lacking. And then we've also got, peace and harmony. A sincere wish will be granted. You'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. And the flowers are, to me, are representing the symbolism of something so beautiful that when it's not watered, it can begin to wither. But when we water it, it can begin to blossom and have that peace and harmony. And what I'm going to say, this gavel can have many meanings here, but what I'm going to say is, involvement with the law. I want to bring in universal law. Ask and it is given. It is law. It is law. That when you're asking for something, it's going to come to you. Not always how we expect, but what you need is going to come to you. And sometimes that's simply through your wisdom and intuition first of here are the action steps to take. Then if you want this outcome or you want this next thing, here's what you're going to have to do to get there. It's not always, well, then everything's just going to happen for you automatically. And sometimes that happens in certain ways. And other times what we are given are the steps and the guidance of what to do for that to happen. So, I feel like we're having here confirmation that what you want is possible. And it's a matter of what are the steps for you to take so you can have your wish be granted. Your wish be granted. You may think that what you want is like a needle in a haystack, almost near impossible to happen. And yet everything is possible. How do you thread a needle? You take one hand and you put the needle through the thread, right? The thread's not going to put itself through the needle. Okay, I don't know. That's what's coming up for me. So let's move on. We've got 2 more decks, and I know we're already past our 30-minute mark, but it's a good conversation. Let me know what you're taking away, and let me know how you enjoy these conversations. I love doing these. And I'm sorry, we have 3 more decks actually. And, just would love to know how you receive them. So, okay, we're going to move on to Keepers of the Light Oracle deck. Did I choose a few too many decks for today's conversation? I have more decks than what I've chosen here. I'm going to say no, we didn't. We chose just the right amount, didn't we? Okay, we did. Okay, let's see what additional message wants to come through for how to move forward when you don't know how. What message can you bring to this conversation? What wants to come through from this deck? There we go. We got one. What is it? We have Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. And where did we have grace earlier? Oh, that was a different, no. Right here. Grace. Grace. Give yourself grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. You know, again, going right back to what I was saying a moment ago, sometimes we ask the universe for something, and what we're given is, we're given the steps of what to do, or the love and inspiration to take that action that we might be so afraid to take. Again, speaking, years ago when I can't believe I can say years ago at this point, years ago when I was so afraid to leave a job, and I was like, I'm truly stepping out on faith here. It's one of the scariest things I ever did. Because I didn't do it in the most planned out way. So I don't actually recommend how I did it, but the fact that I did it, that's huge. And I do recommend that. I do recommend you taking action on the things that you're being called to do. And that's what I was being called to do at the time. So allow yourself to I'm going to say, open up your heart and give yourself grace. Feel all that support that is wanting to come through to you right here. Going back to this self-love card, the universe supports me in every positive way. Every positive way. When you're freaking out, the universe wants you to feel these waves of inspiration and love, supporting you, encouraging you. Oh man. Oh, just feel that. Do you feel that? Yeah. There's a lot there right now. Okay, I'm going to take a look at the bottom. Let's see what's here. What do we have? Oh my gosh. The bottom of the deck. Oh my gosh. The card's faith. The card literally says faith. Humanity and benevolence. Stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others. See the light in the world and what's coming through. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the images here. On the first card here, where we had Paul the Venetian, he has a rose in the center of his chest. And of course, he's wearing a green jacket, which is representative of the heart chakra, which is green. And here on Faith, she's holding a blue heart in front of her, which is, it's like a bottle. It's like a blue heart-shaped bottle. And there's something coming up out of it. We could say it's a liquid or an essence, like oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what you call that, like the sense. Oh my gosh, totally blanking on the word. Anyway, incense. There we go. Incense. Blue is the color of the throat chakra. Speaking your truth, speaking from the heart. Give yourself grace. Allow yourself to have that open heart. Speak from the truth. I don't know. Maybe it's speaking to yourself new limiting beliefs. Maybe it's speaking yourself into a space of confidence to do that thing that you want to do. Remember, it's going to be okay. Whatever you desire and then allow, you must experience. Breathe deeply. Okay, I'm just seeing the connections here between the different messages. That was meant to be. I wasn't planning on pulling another card from this deck, and I just was thinking, you know what? Let me look at the bottom. The bottom literally says faith. The bottom literally says faith. So, okay. We're going to do a card from the Rebel deck because this always adds some fun and I'm going to say humor, sometimes a kick in the pants also, but this can be a fun one. So, and then we're going to close out with a postcard from Spirit before we go. Let's see. Okay, what message wants to come through for how do we move forward when we don't know how? And boom, we got one right now. What is it? Okay, so the front, I can't show you this. So the front says, stop effing whining. The back says, no one wants to listen to that ish. Complaining makes you weak. You have the strength to change your world. So do it. Stop effing whining. No one wants to listen to that ish. Complaining makes you weak. You have the strength to change your world. So do it. I know that message might come across as quite harsh, and sometimes we need that kind of kick in the pants, right? To snap ourselves out of whatever tizzy we've been or loop we've been going through in our head. Sometimes what I will do when I find myself in a space where I'm just like, I keep delaying something, or there's something that I know that like, okay, it's going to benefit me to do this thing. Stop letting myself get in my head and slow me down from doing it. I sometimes do kind of like shut off. Like I will like, okay, we're shutting the mind down and we're just doing the action. What is the action? Okay, the action is getting up. Let's say it's going to the gym. Okay, just stop thinking about it. And, I don't feel like it right now, but I know it's going to really benefit me and I want to go. I know in the grander scheme of things, I want to go. Tune out the thoughts and I just go, what's the next thing? Okay, put on the workout clothes. Okay, we're not going to get into the feelings right now, right? There's a time and place. Emotions are really beneficial. And the message that that keeps coming up lately that I want to repeat here is context matters. Yes, your emotions are so beneficial and serve you in so many ways. And there are times when it's like, you know what? We're going to tune that out because we know that that's not serving a purpose. And let's move into the action of what's going to really benefit me. So that's what I'm hearing coming through that one right now. And then what's that next step? Just put on your shoes, put on your workout shoes, right? And then what's the next step? Get your purse and go, get in your car. Okay. I hope you're laughing with me. Okay. Last card is from Postcards from Spirit. These are always such great messages to close out with. I love pulling from this deck at the end. Final message for how do you move forward when you don't know how? How do you move forward when you don't know how? Ooh, we got one. Yes, it's one. I love it. Great. Okay, let's see what the message is. If you're enjoying today's conversation, please do consider giving it a like, add a comment, share it, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. That always helps on whichever platform you are listening from. Grateful to have you here and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay. So the front or the back, however you want to look at it, of this card says celebrate life. We've got a cherub with butterfly wings sitting amongst some daisies. Okay, let's see what this one says. This one says, dearest you, we need you to know that you can change things miraculously for you and everyone and make things right. Ooh. I'm going to read that again. Dearest you, we need you to know that you can change things miraculously for you and everyone and make things right. It's never too late. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the burden of an old story, one in which you were a victim of someone else's actions or your own. You don't need to carry this around. You can set yourself free. Even advocating for good because of this experience requires your forgiveness to be effective. Forgiveness is never about condoning things that were done. It's about letting yourself off the hook from carrying the burden. Resentment and hurt are like viruses that spread to others, and that is the opposite of what you really desire, right? Imagine what your life would be like without the burdens that you carry when you do not forgive. You can do it. Everyone over here believes in you and adores you. That was a great message. So is there something to forgive that might be getting in the way? Is there resentment or hurt getting in the way? That's a good one. That's a really good one. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Remember that every day is always a new day. Wherever you are today does not have to be where you are tomorrow. Wouldn't that be so amazing Wouldn't that be so amazing that whatever may be weighing on you and just like cycling through your thoughts, your energy field, whatever it might be, for however long it's been, if you were to take a new action and the next day you don't have to go through that anymore because you finally did something about it. You finally took that next step forward. Because maybe it's not so much about not knowing what to take, what to do to move forward. You do already know how. Maybe you've just been resisting it. Maybe you've just been contemplating it for forever and a day. Maybe you're trying to make everything look so easy. Maybe you're waiting for everything to be perfect before you take that next step. And maybe it's about, you know what? You have everything you need right now. And the universe, God, is fully supporting you and loving you as you're going to take this next step forward. And it's okay if it's messy. Give yourself that grace. Give yourself that grace. Have faith and allow yourself to take that breakthrough. I thought this was a beautiful conversation, and I loved what showed up as we did this today. You are smarter and wiser than you might give yourself credit for or allow yourself to fully embrace and recognize. You know what to do. Have an amazing day, everybody. I will see you all again very, very soon. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Bye for now.